Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm Inside Collections. Today is Sunday, January 11th, 2026, and today we're going to be talking about this breaking news coming out of the states of Florida and Virginia amid the current redistricting war going ahead before the 2026 midterms. Let's just get straight into it. The news out of Florida, I'm going over the news out of Florida first because it's chronological. This came out on Wednesday, uh, January 7th on Wednesday. The Virginia news came out on that Thursday, even though it says January 9th. It came out on Thursday. So we're going to start with the Florida news. Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, called for a special legislative session in Florida to consider redistricting in the state. What this means is that should Floridians, the Florida state legislature, go ahead with this redistricting, should they pull it off, they could get up to 5 additional GOP seats in the state of Florida. 5 seats in the state of Florida. That could sway the entire House of Representatives. Simply put, it could. Yes, Democrats are most likely going to win in 2026 on the national environment by a pretty solid margin, but 5 seats, that's really 10 seats, because that's 5 seats away from the Democratic Party and 5 seats for the Republican Party. That's basically a 10 seat swing to the Republicans just by gerrymandering. There is a silver lining for Democrats, however, and that's next news that we have. It's the news out of Virginia. Hakeem Jeffries met with on Thursday. Hakeem Jeffries met with the 6 Virginia Democrats that are currently here. Let me show you. The Virginia congressional map is fair. It has 6 Democrats, 5 Republicans. Democrats get a little bit over 50% of the vote. Republicans get a little bit under. It's a fair map. The 6 Democrats and Hakeem Jeffries huddled to discuss about redistricting ahead of 2026. He also met with the Senate President Pro Tempore and the Senate Majority Leader, who are Democrats, to talk about, and House Speaker of the Virginia House, to talk about redistricting. And they have discussed, that we know of, and are talking about 2 maps. A 9-2 map and a 10-1 map. Let me show you what that would look like. Democrats currently have 6 to Republicans 5. Can edit this. They are targeting this district in Southeast Virginia, this one in East Virginia, and this one in Central Virginia. This is what they have right now. These are, if the Democrats redistrict in the state of Virginia, these seats are practically a lock for the Democratic Party. These seats would go to the Democrats if they were districted. But what they are discussing is either this map or a map that goes even further to eliminate this district, creating a 10-1 map in the state of Virginia, axing Republicans' representation from their share of the vote in Virginia to 10%. And that's exactly what Republicans are trying to do in Florida. In Florida, let me show you. Whoops. Past elections. In Florida, this is the current Florida map. Yes, it's unfair to Democrats already. Democrats got 42% of the vote in the House elections in Florida, yet they have under 30% of representation. But at the end of the day, it's not the absolute worst map for Democrats that could happen. But what Republicans are trying to do is trying to redistrict this seat out of Orlando. Whoops. The 2 Democrat seats out of Orlando. What am I doing? They're trying to axe the 2 Democrat seats out of Orlando, the 1 out of Tampa, and 2 out of Miami. This would effectively bring Democrats representation in Florida when they routinely get over 40% of the vote. They would to bring the representation down to less than a 10th. And Democrats are only doing the same exact thing in Virginia if Republicans do it in Florida. Hakeem Jeffries met with these Democrats after this news out of Florida. Democrats are only redistricting, only gerrymandering in response to Republicans. Actually, I want to show you. Yeah, actually, I'll do this later. They're only doing this in response to Republicans. For example, if you're watching this video, I bet you know how this all started. It started with Greg Abbott and Donald Trump redistricting Texas. They gerrymandered 5 Democratic seats out of the state of Texas. These aren't the actual seats, but you get the point. 5 seats out of Texas. In response to that, Democrats opened up Proposition 50 in California to redistrict 5 seats, to gerrymander 5 Republican seats out of California towards the Democratic Party, which evened out the representation. Democrats, Texas Republicans voted out California Republicans. California Democrats voted out, sort of voted out Republican. I mean, not, forget what I'm saying. The point is that Republicans are gerrymandering and Democrats are firing back. Democrats are not gerrymandering and Republicans are firing back. Republicans are gerrymandering and Democrats are following. Not for their own self-interests, but because Republicans are doing it too. Because if they just let Republicans do what they're doing, they would net 30 seats in the House of Representatives and that would be over. So Democrats are fighting back. And what Republicans also did is they gerrymandered the seat out of Missouri states, not for Democrats. This is what it currently is, but for the Republicans gerrymandered the seat out of Missouri and the seat out of North Carolina, which brought the total of the redistricting war from Democrats with 5 seats in California to Republicans 7 in Texas, Missouri, and North Carolina. But by sheer luck, Democrats scored a win in Utah, which secures them a safe Democratic seat in the state of Utah. Of course, Utah is Republican controlled. Democrats did not do this. They just got lucky because the current Utah map is illegal. It is unconstitutional, and they had to give Salt Lake City representation. So that's what happened. Democrats are netting a seat in Utah. So this is where the redistricting war stands right now. Yes, Ohio redistricted, but nothing's going to change out of the state. One Democrat seat is going to be slightly more competitive, but Democrats are still going to win that. Maybe in 2028 they'll struggle to win the seat. I don't know, but we're going to discard Ohio right now because nothing's really changing. If Republicans gerrymander 5 seats out of Florida, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that would bring their representation, their gerrymandering total to 12 to Democrats 6. In response to this, that's what Democrats are doing in Virginia. They're going to axe 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 seats out of the state of Virginia, which, yes, Democrats are still underrepresented, are still behind in the current redistricting war, but Democrats might gerrymander Maryland. They might gerrymander Ohio even further. The point is, even right now, 2 seats, or really 4 seats, because they're taking away seats from Democrats and giving them to Republicans, that's really a 4-seat change, but 4 seats are not going to decide the House of Representatives in 2026. Yes, that would decide the House right now. It would. If Democrats gained 2 seats, no, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. So, sorry about that. 2 seats is not going to be the end of the world, simply put. And that's kind of where it stands. I want to talk about Florida a little bit more, and how there actually could be. I'm not saying this for sure. This is my opinion. There could be a silver lining for Democrats if Republicans gerrymander the state so much. They would, like I said, gerrymander these 2 seats out of Orlando, this one out of Tampa, and 2 out of Miami. The thing is, these votes don't go away. These votes are still there. These Democratic votes are still there. They're just spread throughout 5 districts in Orlando. So what happened with these districts, they would become closer. All these districts, I believe even this district in next to Tampa, I don't know what it is. I should know the number, but I don't, would become a lean margin under 5 points. These seats in Miami would become smaller margins. If 26 is the blue wave that it could be, all these seats could narrow up even further. They could all become like this. They could all change. And even further, some of them could flip to the Democrats. Democrats could narrowly pull out a victory in these seats, and could result in a Republican dummy-mander. Okay, that's enough of what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say is that there is a chance if Republicans gerrymander the state of Florida, that Democrats could fight back and somehow win these seats back. It's not a likely scenario. It won't happen. It probably won't happen. But I'm just saying that there is sort of a silver lining. And that's enough of my talking. That's enough of my yap. If you enjoyed this video, or if you have any thoughts about this, please let me know in the comments. I really want to hear your suggestions, what your thoughts about the current news and suggestions. Comment any suggestions, and like the video if you liked it. Let's subscribe if you enjoyed it. I make videos daily. Subscribe if you want to see more, and yeah, hope you have a great day.